I want to show you the exact weekly routine I follow across every single ad account I manage. It's not a general framework, it's not a philosophy, the exact days, the exact action, the exact decision rules. Because here's the thing about Facebook ads that most people get wrong. The problem is not usually the strategy. The problem is the execution. It's making a decision on Monday based on Sunday's data, then reversing it on Wednesday because Tuesday looked pretty bad. This is not a media buying, this is gambling, this is day trading. And the single biggest reason most ad accounts never achieve consistent, scalable results. What I'm going to give you today is a protocol. It's a specific, repeatable 7-day cycle that eliminates emotional decision making and replace it with a systematic process. I call it Monday, Wednesday, Friday protocol. I have been running this protocol across all of my ad accounts for the past several years. It is the operational backbone of how I manage over $150 million in Facebook ad spend. Every media buyer on my team uses it. Every client account follows it. The reason is because it works. It forces you to make decisions at the right time based on the right data with a clear decision rule in place before you look at the numbers. So let me walk you through it day by day. The protocol starts on Wednesday. Wednesday is the day when we launch new creatives. So you maybe ask yourself, why Wednesday? Because launching stuff on Wednesday means your ads will run through the weekend. Saturday and Sunday are the highest converting days for most ecom stores. If you launch on Monday, you're evaluating performance based on Monday and Tuesday data, which are usually the worst performing days and the worst converting days. So potentially you will kill good ads that would have performed better during the second part of the week and the weekend. So launching stuff on Wednesday gives you 2.5 days of data before you first evaluate on Friday. What do I launch on Wednesday? Every test follows the same structure. Every ad set represents one concept, one angle. Inside that ad set, we have 3 to 5 creative variations. The variable being tested is the hook or the creator. The copy, the landing page, and the offer remained constant across all of the variation. Why this structure? Because we are testing only one variable at a time. If you change the angle, the copy, the hook, and the landing page simultaneously and the test wins, you don't know what drove the results. You cannot replicate it, you cannot take learnings, and you cannot scale it intelligently. You're just guessing. You maybe ask yourself, so even you have the Andromeda update? Yes, because hook is such a small thing effort that could have tremendous impact. Starting budget for every test of mine depends on the overall number of weekly tests, AOV, and the overall daily budget. But in most cases, it's $100 per day per ad set. This is enough to generate meaningful data within 48 hours without burning excessive budget on a concept that might not work. And critically, I prefer to use ABO, which means ad set budget optimization, not CBO. With CBO, Facebook can often allocate budget to the perceived winner based on high click-through rate or high thumbs-up ratio rather than the actual purchase performance. Another reason, new ad can rarely compete against an established ad. I call this, you cannot beat an MVP with a rookie ad. ABO gives every concept an equal dedicated budget. So by Friday, every task has been running for approximately 2.5 days. This is the first evaluation checkpoint. So here's why. After 2.5 days of $100 per day, most ad sets have spent between $200 and $250. This is not necessarily enough data to make a reliable judgment on the purchase performance, but it's enough data to evaluate whether the creative is resonating with the audience. If performance metrics are really poor, then I would kill the whole ad set immediately. I would not necessarily wait for Monday, but that is an outliner. Let's say my CPC is usually $1 or cost per card is $5, but I'm getting $5 CPC and $15 cost per card. There's no way that ad would turn out to be the winner. Spending more money would not change the outcome. If SWOT metrics are strong, and you already see some purchase data, I can increase the budget right away. Because if something is working on Friday, it will more likely perform even better on the weekend. So I would increase the budget, let's say from 100 to 150 or 200, depending how good it is. If soft metrics are mixed, there are some purchases but not enough data, I would let it run through the weekend, potentially with a decreased budget, and then evaluate again on Monday. This is the most important rule in the entire protocol, and one of the most people violate. Do not scale your performance on Monday based on the weekend data. I know it's tempting. You see the data coming in over the weekend, things are looking great, and then on Monday you increase the budget while performance is gonna end up being a bad, and your whole performance collapse because conversion rate spiked on a weekend, but it dropped on a Monday, and you increase the budget, so performance is even worse. So Monday is the most important day in the final protocol. This is when we make all the final decision. Monday, every task has been running for 5 days. We have the weekend data. we have enough purchase volume to make reliable decision on conversion performance. I divide every active ad set into 3 buckets. Bucket 1 is scale. These are the winners. Approximately 1/3 of your test should fall here if your hit rate is really high. That means your ROAS is above target for at least 3 consecutive days, CPA is below the target, you manage to increase budget, performance still holds, soft metrics are healthy. For these ad sets, I would usually increase the budget during the weekend, but I would not increase on the Monday. I would probably increase them later during the week. So it would go from 100, 200, 200, 350, then 550, then 550 to 750, then 1K. Each step happens every 1 to 3 days, depending on the sustained performance. A winning ad set can go from 100 to 1K per day within probably like 5 to 7, 10 days. Bucket 2 is kill. These are obvious losers, poor metrics across all variations, no sign of improvement. Turn that off immediately. Do not give them another week. Do not reduce the budget and hope they would perform. You did that already on Friday. If they did not improve over the weekend, kill them and reallocate the budget to new tests. Bucket 3, continue. These are the maybes. You have mixed signals, maybe they don't have enough data, or you lower the spend. Keep them at the same decreased budget for additional few days, or turn off the variation that suck most of the spend without actually getting the best results, and reevaluate again on Wednesday. Once you make a decision, commit to it. Constantly second guessing yourself creates exact emotional decision making that protocol is designed to eliminate. Whenever I enter the ad account, I know how long my asset is active, what is my potential move. There's also one more component of this protocol that most people overlook, and it is arguably the most important. Before you launch any test on Wednesday, you must write down a hypothesis. Not a vague intention, a specific hypothesis. The template would be, I believe that angle will resonate with audience because reason, and I expect to see specific metrics by specific date. Whenever I put a question mark, this is where you put something that is connected to your brand and test. For example, I believe that a problem-aware angle focused on joint pain will resonate with customers aged 45 to 65 because our review data shows that 40% of customers mention joint pain as their primary purchase motivation. I expect to see CPA below $35 by Monday. Why does this matter? Because without a hypothesis, you cannot learn from your test. If your test wins, you don't know why. If it loses, again, you don't know why. You're just collecting data without actually extracting insight. Without a hypothesis, every test teaches you something. Wins validate your understanding of the customers. Losers reveal the gap in your understanding. Over time, this builds a systematic knowledge base about what your customers actually respond to. This is the beauty of digital marketing. It's not like a billboard where you launch and you don't get any data. Here you can actually measure the data. So here's the protocol in summary. Wednesday, launch all of the tests at $100 per day. 1 concept per ad set, 3 to 5 variation per concept. Write your hypothesis before launching them. Friday, evaluate both soft metrics and performance metrics. Kill obvious losers, scale obvious winners. Let everything else run, either with a decreased budget or a third of variation. Saturday and Sunday, do not touch anything unless performance is great, then you can scale. Monday is final triage. Identify the winners, kill the losers, continue maybe for another week. Repeat every single week without exception. The discipline is in the repetition. The results come from the consistency. The brands at scale are not the ones with the best creative or the best bidding strategy. They are the ones that execute this process week after week, month after month without deviation. If you want to see this exact optimization protocol that I use to track my performance daily and make decisions, I have a video on that in my channel. It's the single most important tool in my operational stack. If you want me to implement this in your ad account, just book a call with below. If you want any additional content and clarity on this, just post a comment below, and see you guys next week.